May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from harm. May all beings love life. May all beings awaken. Welcome to another Cuke Audio mini podcast. I pray that you and yours are safe and comfortable and free from economic hardship and able to get out and do whatever it is you want within the limitations of the universal precept of do as little harm as possible. So, I'm going to start with a very brief memory. I put everything I can into this oral history to cover a gamut of experiences and comments. And so Joel Weishaus, what it says here is some correspondence between Joel Weishaus and D.C. In response to being asked if he'd ever met or seen Suzuki Roshi, he responded, "It must have been around 50 years ago, so I hardly remember. A room in Zafu's, a hallway, Suzuki talking in rather broken English. It's all misty." So that's it. That's the whole thing. So I'm going to go to another very brief one from Dana Gaskin Winnig. I met Suzuki as a kid and found him fascinating and deeply kind. Reading more about his life was really interesting and moving. So that came from an email where she said, "Thank you for your kind message to Stephen Gaskin. I'm his oldest daughter. Eva is my half-sister. Eva had worked with Katrinka at the Pelican Inn at Muir Beach, where Katrinka was manager for 10 years. That's right in the same valley where Green Gulch Farm is." Dana said, "I'm acting as his long-distance email manager. My dad lost his sight in one eye some years ago, and reading on a computer screen is taxing. I've enjoyed reading your books, Thank You and Okay, and Crooked Cucumber." And that's then where she said it. I met Suzuki as a kid and found him fascinating and deeply kind. Reading more about his life was really interesting and moving, so thank you for your work. Do you know who Steve Gaskin was? Stephen Gaskin was a teacher at San Francisco State, and he started a thing called Monday Night Class, where he'd meet informally with anyone who wanted, and he would expound on the meaning of life, and he was like into Buddhism and Hinduism and mystical Christianity and awakening, and he was into people sort of encounter stuff a little bit. He was into people working it out, talking, and he was really into pot and acid. One memory he had of Shunryu Suzuki was, and I think this is from one of his books, at a Zen Center picnic at Golden Gate Park, when Suzuki arrived in his robes, a baby blanket on the ground caught his eye. He lay down on it, rolled up in it, and just lay there a while. Gaskin brought, he would bring a whole bunch of students or his followers or whatever to Zen Center to a lecture. And he came a little bit and sat. And he talked about Suzuki, and didn't make any claims to understand him or anything. He was a nice guy. I mean, I didn't know him, but I have very good impressions of him. And I've known a lot of people that were involved with him. He and his acolytes left San Francisco en masse and went to Tennessee. I think in a caravan, or anyway, they bought a big piece of land and started a thing called the Farm, which was the most successful big hippie commune in the country. I mean, it was on a big scale, and they were very successful with their businesses, organic farming and other things. People came to Zen Center because of hearing about Suzuki from him. So here, I'm going to read you something he said. I didn't know Suzuki wrote, and this is from his book, Amazing Dope Tales. He says, I didn't know Suzuki Roshi, but I was slightly acquainted with him. I sat with him once or twice and went to hear him lecture a few more times, but I didn't have to go see him all the time or spend a lot of time in his presence. He had his integrity, whether I was there or not. Knowing that he was there and that he had his integrity all the time made it so I felt safe. As wild and scary and trippy as it was in San Francisco, I felt safe because I knew there was such a thing as an honest man. I knew an honest man. I knew where an honest man lived. I knew I could go see him and talk to him if I wanted to. There was an honest man there who believed in reality. He was the strength to all of my trippings. Everything I ever did in San Francisco was strengthened from knowing that he was there, that he existed, that he was like he was. And I find that I tend to respect him more rather than less as time goes on, as I see how long it takes to find another one like him. So, thank you, Steve Gaskin. Okay. This has been a Cuke Audio mini podcast. I'm DC Puba of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from sleepy Sanur with Doggett, Bandita, Feline Cuchita, and dear lovely Katrinka. And we're wishing you and yours and all of us a grand awakening.